I need to record, first of all. Sorry, guys. Some stuff's going on right now, and I really need to enable waiting room, allow participants to annotate and shared content. Okay, I think it should be fine now. Okay, so moving on, we have basic cell types. There's two, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. So prokaryotic cells, they don't have a nucleus or a membrane included in their DNA. The DNA is just kind of floating in there. And they don't have membrane-bound organelles like mitochondria or the Golgi apparatus. Prokaryotic cells, they make up the smallest single-celled organisms. They're bacteria. So prokaryotic cells, the only thing that they are is bacteria. They don't really have organelles, and they really just have DNA, and it's floating in there, right? On the flip side, you got eukaryotic cells. So they usually have at least one membrane enclosed structure, which is called the nucleus. They have organelles, so tiny organs. We'll get more into the organelles soon. And they're present in all living organisms, animals, plants, fungi, proto. All right, Michael. Sorry, man. You send me your whole packet, Michael. Okay. He's gone. If you watch this, you only have to do the third activity, I think. Well, I'll explain at the end of the lecture. Okay. Okay. So, eukaryotic cells, again, you have the nucleus, right? And you have organelles. We'll get into those. Present in all organisms, animals, plants, fungi, protists, except for the bacteria, because the bacteria are prokaryotic. But we have eukaryotic cells. And we have bacteria in us, right? Okay. Yeah, if you leave and then come back, you can probably rename yourself. So here's a breakdown of them. So prokaryote, right? You see something called a nucleoid there, but it's not a full nucleus. You've still got ribosomes so that it can, do translation and transcription. You have a cell membrane still protecting it. You have this thing called a capsule, which I'm not really sure it is, but it has a flagellum, so that it can swim better, right? So like sperm have it, and prokaryotes have it, and some eukaryotes have what's called a cell wall. So I don't know why this is showing that there. And then in the eukaryote, you've got the nucleolus, you've got a membrane enclosed nucleus, your mitochondria, so that's how you make your energy, and you've still got some ribosomes. So this is where you do activity 3. We'll talk about that in a second. The flagellum does not carry DNA. The DNA for the perikaryote is just here, just hanging out. The flagellum is just a structure that helps it to move around. Okay, so you have a bunch of different organelles, right? You have all of these, which we're going to be going over one by one, I think. I don't know if the Golgi apparatus is on there. But this should be kind of review, because in middle school, you guys talked about the cell structure, right? Mitochondria is the what of the cell? Does anyone know? Powerhouse. There we go. Yeah, good. That's the only one that everyone remembers. Even people my age, people like 27 years old, 26 years old, they remember that, and it's a meme on Facebook now or on the internet. So this just outlines all the different ones, right, where they are in the cell. So let's first talk about the endoplasmic reticulum. So that's where the parts of the cell are put together. So the rough ER has ribosomes. And if you remember, the ribosomes are used to make your proteins, right? It's in protein synthesis. What's going on with loading? Are they just like doing, what are they doing? Okay, well, okay, well, loading's gone. Yeah, I can't see what's going on outside of just seeing what happens in chat. So if someone's being annoying, I'll just kick them. Okay. So ER is where everything's being put together. Okay. So your rough ER has ribosomes. If you remember, ribosomes is where protein synthesis finally happens, right? So you have the RNA coming over to the ribosomes and giving a code up to the ribosome where the tRNA comes and brings some amino acids, and then they start chaining them together, and then you got a protein. That's what happens over at the rough ER. And the smooth ER is what helps you to make lipids. Okay, so lipids are the fats and stuff. And that's to help either power the cell later or for protection, right? That's what lipids do. Then you got your mitochondria. They supply the power to the cells. This is where you're getting most of your ATP from. So they break down chemical compounds and energy for the cell. Cellular respiration happens from it. You got some lysosomes. So those have enzymes to help break down lipids, carbohydrates, and proteins into small molecules that can be used by the rest of the cells. So like if you eat something, so like I ate some cereal, right? It was delicious. I ate some cereal and that gets put into my body. The lysosomes come and break down that food. It was Honey Bunches of Oats. Yep. Yep. The only cereals that I have here are Honey Bunches of Oats and Rice Krispies. And if it's not chocolate Rice Krispies, why would I even try? You know? Okay. Thomas and Bob are in. And everyone's coming a little bit late. Well, not everyone. Most of you guys are on time. But yeah, the lysosomes help break those down so that they can be used by the mitochondria later, right? Fruity Pebbles. That'd be some pretty good cereal. Okay. We're gonna go right now into some plant organelles. So these are ones that only plants have. And this is what makes them different from animal cells. That's okay, Reese. You're good. So vacuoles are structures that are used to store water in plant cells. We have some in animal cells, but they're not as big, right? Because plants need to store more water. So if you look at this plant cell here, you'll see it's just got this giant like water drop basically, and that's the vacuole that's storing it. Plants also have chloroplasts that capture the energy from sunlight and convert it into chemical energy. So this is where photosynthesis happens. Can anyone tell me why chloroplasts are green? No clue. They hold chlorophyll. Yeah, that's one of the reasons, which is green. But why is it green? Yeah, good job, Thomas. It reflects green light. So photosynthesis uses all the light except for green. So because of that, it's absorbing all of that light, and green is being reflected off of it. So now it looks green to us. So that's why chloroplasts are green, and chlorophyll. And then plants also have this thing called a cell wall. So plant cells and many prokaryotes also have another outer layer called the cell wall to support and protect the cell. That's why when you like crunch a plant or something, it's crunchy because of the cell wall. Because it's using all the other colors for photosynthesis. And if the chloroplast was damaged, it would have to damage like every single cell. Because we're thinking cells, right? So one tiny little cell has chloroplast in it. If those chloroplasts were damaged, that cell wouldn't be able to do photosynthesis, but every other cell in the plant would still be able to do it. So it wouldn't really have any bad effects. It'd probably just be a malfunctioning cell. What type of shoes do amphibians wear? Frog shoes? Crocs? No, those are reptiles. Open-toed sandals. Yep. Uh, I'm not very good with jokes. I don't. Not until the punchline's given. Maybe I should get a joke book. I can't say a joke. I'm not a funny person. I can do like a magic trick, and that's it. Anyways, yeah. So the plant wouldn't die if the chloroplasts stopped working. Oh my God, so many laughs. Okay, moving on. Cells also have a thin, flexible barrier known as the cell membrane, and it's surrounding all of the cells. Okay. So that helps to keep everything inside of it. So it just doesn't, because like cells have this thing called the cytoplasm that everything kind of like floats in, like just floats, right? So the cell membrane holds that in, and it's made of this thing called a double layer, which is a lipid bilayer. I don't know who Jesse Topete is. We'll see if he does anything wrong. Okay. So it's made of a lipid bilayer, and it controls in what enters and leaves the cell. So it looks kind of like this. So you got your lipids on one side with the hydrophobic ends pointed down, and then the lipids on the top, which keeps all the water out. This is a really important part of the cell because this is what makes you waterproof, right? So lipids, by their nature of being fats, are waterproof. Water can't get it in and out of you. If you didn't have this, you would be like the Wicked Witch of the West. If you threw some water on you, you'd start to melt, right? Or if you went into a bathtub, you would just kind of dissolve into it. It would not be a fun time. No, gremlins don't melt. I'm pretty sure they duplicate. No, they turn into evil things. That's right. So this is what helps protect and support you, but also it's controlling what enters and leaves the cells, right? So like anything bad that would want to come into the cell or that the cell wouldn't need, it just keeps it out. But on the other hand, like the nutrients and the carbs and stuff that it wants, it lets it in. Okay. And you see here, it's got this thing called the protein channels that are letting things in through. There's like the active and passive transport. I don't know if we get into that here, but yeah, so this is what is really protecting you here. So for protein synthesis, we have the nucleus. It's where the DNA is located. It's the site of transcription, which is where it's taking the DNA. I don't want to use translating because that's a different thing. It's taking the DNA and it's writing what that code is onto RNA, and then it's like, all right, send it out through carrier pigeon. Man, you know, we should really start getting back to using carrier pigeons in these days. Everyone should get a carrier pigeon and um, teach it how to go to different people. I mean, like, sure we have the internet, but I mean, how cool would it be if you could send a carrier pigeon to your friends in isolation and then just send letters back and forth like that? I mean, it would basically put the mailman out of business, but my dad already retired, so I'm not too worried about that. And Trump already wants to get rid of the mailmen, so I mean, pigeons are stupid, but the messenger you can eat, unlike Amazon delivery, dude. It's true. um. Anyways, we Californians have accents. Doing further research and finding out it's true made me feel foreign to myself. Yeah. Wait. What is going on? Who's this Mike Axlong? Okay. Anyways, sorry. Um, I think from now on we're just gonna, unless if someone doesn't have their real name in the chat, we're just not gonna admit them because this is just getting ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know who Mike is. We're reconnecting to audio. You're kind of been okay for right now though, but next time you're gonna have to wait. Anyways, so we got the nucleus, we got the ribosomes. It's the site of translation, so where you make a protein from the mRNA. Right, we've talked about that already. And then the Golgi apparatus, which proteins get packaged into vesicles and sent to different areas of the cell. So these are like, this is like your carrier pigeons, like your UPS drivers, your postmen, your Amazon delivery. That's what the Golgi apparatus is. They package up all these proteins and then they send them to the different areas of the cell. So this is how protein synthesis kind of happens. You start at the nucleus, go to ribosomes, and then Golgi apparatus sends it everywhere. We've already talked about protein synthesis, though. You had a quiz on it, too. We don't need to do this practice. So it shows you the difference between animals and plant cells, right? So plant cells typically can be a lot bigger. And that's just because they have a few more things in them. And also the vacuole is bigger, right? Got more vacuoles, about 12. What time will this be over? We're approaching the end, I think. Again, I told us this isn't going to be a long one because a lot of it's review. And I don't want to just talk at you guys for super long. I mean, you joined late. I started at 11. Okay. It's been about a half an hour right now. I did start recording it late, unfortunately. Anyways. So. Yeah, you did. It's okay, Thomas. You can catch the beginning on the YouTube. Organization of cells. So a cell that exists on its own is called a single celled or unicellular organism. Okay. Unicellular organisms carry on all characteristic properties of life. So you got examples: bacteria, protozoa, algae, and some fungi. They're all unicellular organisms, just one. Okay. Next, you got multicellular organisms. So that's us. That's every animal on the planet, pretty much. We're all, yeah, Ethan, you have your hand up, it looks like. My day's going okay. I got some work to do after this, but can you tell us what we will have to do since we were here? I'll tell you after the PowerPoint. Okay, guys. Just send it to me when you can. Okay. So, multicellular organisms are made up of hundreds, thousands, millions, or billions of cells. Okay? In multicellular organisms, the cells are specialized. They cannot live independently, and each type of cell carries out only some of the life processes. So, in bacteria, so we go back to bacteria, right? They carry on all characteristic properties of life. So they're moving, they're eating things, they're doing all those 8 things. They're evolving. In us, each cell is not doing everything, right? We have different cells for different things. So we have muscle cells, we have blood cells, we have nerve cells, all that kind of stuff, right? And all of those things have a specific job. We talked about this in cell differentiation. Everything has a different job, and they all do that job to help each other survive. And because we have all of these different things, that's how we can do so many different things than a bacteria, which just like kind of moves and eats what's around it. Bacteria does not have a heartbeat because it does not have a heart. So the cells are specialized. They cannot live independently. So like our blood cell, it can't live independently, right? Our muscle cells can't live independently. Each of them is doing a certain job. These relationships require many levels of organization and interaction. Okay. So for the multicellular, it's important to remember that everything is specialized. Okay? They can't live on their own. We have to have all of these different types of cells, or else we'll just be like we'll just either be dead or we'd be unicellular. And that wouldn't be fun. Do you want to be a bacteria? I don't want to be a bacteria. Well, I mean, you're perfectly capable of being a bacteria if you want to be. It's up to you. So cells differentiate from stem cells so that they can do a lot of different jobs in the body. They all still have the same DNA, but genes are turned on or turned off. Example, we don't want cells in our eyes making stomach acid, right? So we talked about this again beforehand. But it's important to note because a lot of you didn't get this the first time around. The reason why, because we have everything in our body has the same DNA, right? We identical DNA throughout our entire body, unless you're that one rare instance where you devoured your twin or you're a chimera like that one woman, right? We all have the same DNA in our body. So in order for us to have like a hand here or an eye, and everyone's coming at last second, the DNA has to turn off certain genes so that a cell will turn into like an eye cell, right? Or I think that'd be a muscle cell, but work towards an eye, right? It has to turn off all the hand genes, all the foot genes, all the mouth genes, all that stuff. So we have the same DNA, but the genes are turned on or turned off. Okay. So then we go up the ladder and we have tissues. They're made up of a group of cells working together. So like you have smooth muscle tissue, right? You have loose connective tissue, nervous tissue, blood, not blood tissue. There's no blood tissue. But so like all these different tissues, they have different group of specific cells working together, right? Then you move up. You got organs, which are a group of tissues that work together to perform a specific function. So stomach has nerve, muscle, blood. All of these are working together to perform a function, right? And in the stomach, there's a bunch of different functions. Mostly it's to break down food so that you can eat it and get some wonderful nutrients so you can go about your day and do all of the schoolwork that you have to do, right? So organs are the next step. So it goes cells, then tissues, then organs. Next, you got organ systems, which is a group of organs that are working together to perform a specific function. So you have the digestive system, which has the mouth in it, because where else are you going to get your food from? You have the esophagus, your stomach, intestines, your pancreas, and your liver, right? Safeway, it's fair. I get my food from Winco, but more specifically, I get it from my dad, who's the only one allowed in the house to go shopping anymore. So that's fun. Just ways that that life in quarantine works, you know. Smart, Thomas. You should do that until she stops, because you don't want to pay for your food. It's not fun. And then finally, you have organisms. So us, right? A group of organ systems that work together to do all the things needed for life. So here's the little graphic. You got the cells, which goes to the tissues, which goes to the organs, goes to the organ systems, and then finally the organism. Okay? You got the little zebra here and the tree. Okay? So, are there any questions on what I talked about here? 45 minutes. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, Sophia. I don't even remember Sophia in my class, so next week we'll see. Anyways, so so for those of you who've attended this lecture or are going to watch it on the YouTube, I want you guys to do. Let's see. I'll stop the share here, and let me bring up thing. Share screen. Where's that? Okay. So let's just do activity 3 here. So you can see the difference between them. So you'll have to watch the video from the Amoeba Sisters. But this will be the only thing that I'll expect from you guys. Yeah, I do want you guys to summarize this lecture as well. My YouTube. Oh. Okay. Let's see the questions. All of this is on the Freedom website. Yeah, so my YouTube's on my page on the Freedom website, and then the packet is also on the Freedom website. Just activity 3. Yeah, but I also want you to do a short summary of what we talked about in the lecture as well. Question and aha moment works fine. Yeah, and you just email it to me. And let me see. I need to see participants. Let's see, print screen. Come on, let me stop share. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get a. Yeah, everyone who is sending it to Mr. Jonas, he does not want your work. Send it to me. Let me see, manage participants, please. And the print screen. Okay, alrighty, sorry. I want your work. I'm sorry, Lily. That kind of sucks. And who's in between? Okay. So now I have a list of everyone that came. Okay. Yeah, Melina, you can email me a picture. Definitely. Oh, okay, Logan. Cool. All right, guys. So, any other questions? Cool. Well, have a good day, guys. Stay safe. Drink lots of water, Lily. I don't have a favorite food. But yep. Have a good day, guys. Just activity 3, and then a question and an aha moment from the lecture. Okay. Cool. Yep. No problem. Have a good one, guys. Someone's been watching a little bit of Drake and Josh. Okay, Thomas. Activity 3. The question is just something that if you had a question from the lecture, something. What? Everyone's just hanging out. Okay. I will stop recording maybe. Yeah.